is going on, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. This is the Digital Cypha Podcast. We are here with the Don CJG and Diozaels, otherwise known as the DOZ. What is up?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
There you go. How you doing, everyone?
Awesome. It's been an interesting week. Not a lot of news, but still a lot of news. So we're gonna dive right in. First, we want to recognize a great person in the video game industry who has passed. That person is Robert A. Altman. He he co-founded Bethesda and ZeniMax, and he also pushed, the Elder Scrolls, Fallout series, and many more. Purchased the Alpha Dog games, Arcane Studios, Machine Games, Tango GameWorks. They all were underneath his belt. Just want to give reference to someone awesome. One of the few people out there who wanted to stay indie up until this point, when they aligned themselves to Microsoft.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, without him, we wouldn't have a lot of the great games we have now, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, ESO,
For sure.
I'm just saying. I don't get that much deep into ESO, but the fact that it exists for all the Skyrim fans, Oblivion fans, just ESO, Elder Scroll fans is awesome.
Yeah, I remember playing Skyrim for the first time. Just came out that blows you away.
Bro, you were playing Doom, and you were blown away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? You just need to get onto ESO.
Did you guide into?
Yeah, eventually. Eventually.
So, again, you want to thank him for all the work that he's put in. The team at Bethesda, ZeniMax, and the studios within. You just want to give reference to those guys as well. Moving forward, what you're seeing here is Ninja Gaiden 2. I was thinking about Ninja Gaiden 1, but Ninja Gaiden 1 has a very long intro. So I was saying, let me put in some Ninja Gaiden. This is my Dark Souls game. This is my Dark Souls before Dark Souls.
This what it was. Okay.
Yeah. Some very interesting news is happening. That has people kind of weird. Not really weird, but like concerned. Steam is creating a China Steam, or Steam China.
Yeah.
A lot of developers on that side of the world is very concerned because we already know that China has a lot of restrictions, policies, rules, regulations on just the community that is China. The people of China.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
One of the things is that Steam technically should not have existed in China on their networks, but somehow has, and has allowed the developers to make crazy amount of money with their games. Let's take a look. You have Tale of Immortals, and then you have Genshin Impact, and then you have some other gacha games, PC, mobile. With this move, it's looking like Steam would be providing a hub for gamers to play games, but locking developers to their own culture, to their own community, and not being able to push their games internationally. Is a possibility, the high possibility, as a matter of fact. What's your guys' thoughts on that, with Steam creating a centric hub for China?
I mean, I personally am not crazy about the idea because mostly of the censorship process that China has. I think this is gonna really deter a lot of gaming companies within China to really develop and grow as a whole, because you can't, besides just sexual content, you just can't even have ultra violent games in China, and that's can be determined by whoever. It's not like there's like a set definition, right?
Right.
So it's really not only gonna hurt the developers, but it's also gonna hurt like a lot of the consumers there, in my opinion, because now before they were playing like whatever version of Steam that they were playing on, being able to buy those games, but now that it's gonna be monitored by China. Because I know like even World of Warcraft, right? Like it's not even like a super crazy violent game, but there's lots of things that are censored in that version of World of Warcraft for China itself. So it just stinks that this is gonna hurt the devs and the consumer base. I mean, there's just so many rules, and the regulations could even take like very long to enforce too, because they'll like do investigations
Right.
just to find out, and they're gonna get taxed more. It just all around is not really great,
Well, when you think about it, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you're doing the Chinese game publishing companies some form of justice, right? Because they've already established some form of connection with the government on how they're going to push games. Okay, like in this case, Perfect World, because Perfect World is working directly with Steam to create this I don't want to say adaptation, but this side software hub for gaming in China. Now, when we think about it, it can be it can be a double-edged sword for Steam, because the worst to me, I'm nothing against China, nothing against the Chinese people or anything, but to me the worst company or the worst community to have breathing down your neck would be the Chinese, in my opinion. If things don't work, because they're gone, they're done. They don't want to have anything to do with you because you provided a some form of content that did not meet the requirements. And this is on both sides of the fence. We're looking at the consumer friendliness, and we're looking at the country regulations that they were supposed to enforce. So Steam now has the government of China on their neck when they push this out, because let's say something doesn't work, they're going to blame who? Steam, right? And Steam is going to be forced to change things based on the agreement and partnership and whatever, contractual agreements that they have, right? Because they're providing a service. It's not like Steam exists in China, unless they do. If they do, awesome, because now they have you have the Chinese employees making sure things are the way it needs to be. But if Steam is solely an American or international business outside of China trying to make something specific for China, and China is not agreeing with it after release, that's gonna look bad. Some notes that I got here. So the Chinese stance on gaming. China National Administration of Press and Publication check to ensure games aren't overly violent and sexual, like Dio said. Rules like ensuring games place restriction on children, as far as limiting how long they can play a game, if you will. And then come on, work on me here. And then Steam shouldn't. Oh, well, we already established the fact that Steam should not be there. So Steam, so Valve and Perfect World has been basically creating this product for a while to be compliant with the country. And then the approved version of Valve will display games that are approved by China. So technically, China will be looking at the games on the China Steam and then approving it probably within the application itself, which is going to be interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
this is going to even affect other like developers outside of China. Like I gave that comparison with World of Warcraft. Like they're going to make it almost a separate client just for China because they don't want to lose that revenue. So I mean, indirectly for like I don't want to say for the smart gamers in China, but like the gamers over there who know how to use VPNs and stuff, I guess won't be so hardly hit. But I just feel bad for the devs because they're not going to be able to create games that are going to appeal to like Western markets because of this. Because I mean, in the end of the day, we want to see, not everyone wants to see ultra violent and sexual games, but there is a market for that they're going to be missing out on. And I'm sure there's people there who are creative who want to create things like that. So that's just going to hurt them in the long run, because now they're going to get even more shoehorned into having to create what's being regulated there.
Well,
that's my problem with it.
I'm gonna put some numbers here. This is what some of the people were saying. If you want to obtain a license, you must pay at least 20,000 to 30,000 in yen.
Correct.
That's $3,000 to $4,000 in USD, and then modify your game at their they're gonna tell you what you need to modify your game to be, and then you still have to wait up to 12 to 24 months after that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, when you go in America, you have this situation where you're applying for some special benefit, if you will. And they give you, all these restrictions, all these things that you need to have in place. You submit, they check. Oh, you're missing this. Now, you've probably waited 2 months to get called back. You check. Oh, this is missing. You got to go and you got to do all this stuff. You come back, wait another couple of months.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a whole process.
It's crazy. Lewis, what is going on? Welcome to the chat. Good morning to you as well. Thanks for jumping in. We're having a discussion on Steam and the issue with Valve creating a Steam version for China. By all means, we're not opposing that China shouldn't have their own thing, but we're looking at how this move would impact the developers who depend on Steam. I mean, they see Steam as a safe haven for pushing games out without restriction, and now, with Steam doing this, I think Steam is trying to make itself safe because something came across the line and said, we're going to cut you short from China. And they're like, we're creating a version, we're creating a Chinese version, give us some time. And then, whatever. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yep.
Another developer. Now, it's funny, everybody who's saying these quotes are anonymous.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Why would you bother creating a Steam China if Steam Global is still in operation? It makes no sense. Anonymous publisher. Another guy says, no one can afford to spend years making a game only to have it sit in a government office for 18 months. So it's crazy. There's a lot going on with that. And as gamers, we can only hope, because what's going to happen is one or two things are going to happen. You're going to have the people who are, they follow the rules and regulations, the guidelines, and play whatever is given to them, and then you have those who are, they know how to get through the system. Like D said, they're going to do the VPN thing and play ESO and play World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14 and all these other games, because they like the gacha and they like the MMOs and they like the shooters, like Call of Duty and CSGO. Oh, I think CSGO was another one, I think, that had to be censored or something like that, or they're playing their own version of CSGO where it's only the country playing CSGO and everybody else is kind of like connected to each other.
That tends to happen a lot, yeah. I mean, like, they even have their own version of, like, Overwatch. It's, like, pretty much copy and paste, but, like, slight changes in, like, skins,
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Just the level of, like, censorship and the whole system they're doing with, like you're saying, like, putting a game in government office just for months to wait on a review. It's insane, but I think that's just how the Chinese government's always worked with a lot of things, and it just makes me glad that we live where we live. We don't have to kind of deal with the situation.
I
Yeah.
don't want to think about it that way though. I mean, I feel for him.
Ah,
That's
yeah,
what
for
I'm
sure.
saying.
Yeah, same.
You know?
This is
Well,
I mean,
imagine-
that's my way of saying it. It's like being in that position
Yeah.
really sucks.
It does.
But I mean, with this, I mean, imagine this, because I mean, they are getting better and better at making games that appeal to everybody. So imagine like they come out with like the next big thing, right? They come up with the next Final Fantasy, or they come out with a new Halo or whatever, like whatever,
Mhm.
and it's actually their own IP. They didn't copy from nobody, and it's successful and it's great. To us, we don't know how long it took them to do that, but when we're waiting for that sequel, let's say it gets
Yeah.
stuck in that like government hell where it's stuck for like a year or two, not in dev, but just behind some official's desk, be like, oh, you know what? I think this is bad subjectively,
Mhm.
and then they had to redo it. So like we wait for games for like 4 to 8 years here. So imagine with that bloat getting added into
Yeah,
it,
or
you
even
know
like
what
a
I mean?
DLC expansion as well.
Oh, forget it, man.
That's just one aspect of it. I mean, consider the fact that some of those games you won't even know exist. They're just hidden, and you know, it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword, because we don't know if this cuts off creativity from the perspective of, oh, this is what Microsoft and Sony and all these other guys are doing. They have to have some form of insight in the industry prior to development, because I mean, even so, let's say even so, the government is still going to know what's going on around the world and be like, okay, that's too American, that's too Japanese, that's too
Yeah.
Korean, that's too you know, European or African or whatever. You know, it needs to be Chinese and only Chinese. You know,
Yep.
denied. You know, like that's weird. That's
Yeah.
man.
No, it just sucks because like I had high hopes for a lot of these Chinese games, and seeing that, it really you know, kind of blocks that off. Because I know you weren't really impressed by that Monkey King game, the preview like a few months ago. But
okay, I'm not impressed, but I had to sit back and think about it, because it's no different than Ninja Gaiden that I'm playing right now. Like, I mean,
for sure,
you're getting hordes of people coming at you, and you just smashing these guys up. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I can get into that, but that won't happen. It's still in development, and if this goes through, and they say, oh, it was going to be released on Steam.
yeah,
Yeah. You know, like
exactly.
so I mean, we can't afford to become fanboys of a specific genre when stuff like this is going on. Like, you know, unfortunately we don't have a voice in the matter, because this is a country, a government, you know what I'm saying? But when we see things like Sony and Xbox and PlayStation, Sony, Xbox and Nintendo doing their thing, we should be looking at, how come we all can't do this? How come we all can't enjoy? Because at any point in time, Nintendo could be going through the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look at Korea and Smilegate Studios. You know, something could happen over there. You know what I'm saying? And then they're just, we're sticking to Korea. You know, we're done. You know what I'm saying? They helped push PUBG. They're helping with the development for Crossfire X for Xbox. You know what I'm saying? The guy who did Bright Memory was Korean. I think he is, right?
Yep,
Yeah, I think he is.
I think so.
So we don't know. So anyways, that's just me.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, MLB The Show 21 is coming to Xbox and I think PC. What are your
Yes.
thoughts about that?
I'll be honest, I didn't know MLB The Show existed.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what's this? I was like, okay. But, you know, we don't know much about the game. Obviously, it's a baseball game and whatnot. I hope that's right?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Bruh, you did not just say, like, am I correct? Like, yo, he's calling somebody on the phone, be like, yo, there's this game we're talking about right now. Just remind me, what type of game
Use my
is that?
phone a friend.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You got the secret line, you know.
But yeah, I think, look, seeing the game, I think, you know, the first kind of exclusive to come over
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
surprised it's Sony who's doing it.
Yes.
I know.
Yes. It's published
That
by
was the
Sony.
takeaway I got from it.
I'm shocked about that.
I'm. We're seeing a shift. We're seeing a shift. It might be the only game that shifts.
Right, possibly.
And here's why I say that. So the base game is for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, standard, $59.99. The Xbox S and PlayStation 5 version is $70.
Of course.
And then there is the collection edition that gives you both. And I don't see the purpose in that. If you know what I'm saying, like, how can you as a company who says you're going to pave the way forward as PlayStation and still put your game out on PlayStation 4 and forcing people to buy an upgrade version of the game?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not paving the way forward. You know what I'm saying? That's I don't see it. I'm sorry.
I mean, look, I think with Sony, it's baby steps. You know what I mean? The fact that they're putting a game on the
It's
console
not
is-
baby steps.
Yo, Ivanovic, listen.
Bro.
You'd think so.
Bro.
You'd think so.
Bro.
But for them, it's baby
Okay,
steps, bro.
Microsoft was doing Xbox Live and you pay for it since day one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And okay, I'm gonna say this because this is my opinion. Because I trust Microsoft services. I trust Microsoft as a product, as a brand, and I have no problems paying for Xbox Live and Game Pass. It is fine. You know what I'm saying? No different than paying. Well, okay, I can't say that because somebody's gonna ream me about it. It's gonna be a PC guy, whatever. But the same way how you go to, for me, Final Fantasy 14, and you play that subscription, right? And then you're getting the benefits of the subscription. I saw the same thing with Xbox Live and Game Pass. Okay.
Mhm.
So with PlayStation, I had the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't get the 5. I never really got into the PlayStation, network. I play with some people, yeah, on PlayStation 4, but on 3, you know what I'm saying? Because there was nothing there for me. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of like it was free and it's there, cool. So you didn't admire it, you didn't put effort into it. Only those who were playing multiplayer games, which there wasn't as many as the Xbox, put something into that. You know what I'm saying? So now that you're paying for it, you're starting to see things. You start to see moves with PlayStation, and I'm beginning to see. I can see Don saying baby steps, but these are not baby steps. These are like people who are being very. I don't want to say adamant. Dio, it's kind of like you're talking to your daughter. You're talking to your daughter about something specific, and she's like, so. You know what I'm saying? And then it dawns on her like, oh, daddy was right. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes across as, and I can only shake my head at it. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to pave the way forward. I would like to acquire some form of experience with PlayStation. The best experience I had was Final Fantasy 14 and God of War. I did not like Horizon Zero Dawn. I did play, Uncharted, but I mean, it's a good game. It's no different than me playing Tomb Raider.
Mhm.
In my opinion. But God of War, awesome. And Final Fantasy 14, awesome. So, but.
So to me, okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that to me, this makes sense what they're doing because this is an easier game to monetize, right? Like just like how EA monetizes like FIFA and Madden.
Mm.
So they want to kind of like fit that void for baseball games. I mean, I know there's other baseball games out there, but none at that same level as Madden and FIFA, right?
Yeah, this is AAA quality, only from Sony. First time
Exactly.
coming to Xbox, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main reason they want to do it. They want to take advantage of that gap, with competition, but also with sport games. I mean, I hate to say it, for my sport gamers out there, but they let them walk all over them when it comes to like microtransactions, and that's the main reason why that stuff leaks into other genres, is because they see, oh, let's test this out on these guys. Will they pay extra for these skins? Will they pay extra for the same exact game from last year? So it makes sense that they're gonna do this. Do I see Sony eventually doing single player games like Spider-Man and Uncharted and God of War? Nah, definitely never.
Yeah, no.
Because there's not as much to monetize there, and then also it gives away the reason to actually buy a PlayStation.
Well,
but something like this, yeah.
It depends. I can see it if Microsoft and Sony allows both subscription to become cross-gen available, like Game Pass on PlayStation and PlayStation Now on Xbox. I can see it that way.
If that comes eventually, yeah. But I don't see them ever doing that.
And if that can only work if MLB 21 outsells on Xbox than on PlayStation. And here's why I say that, because if it does, then yeah, Sony got money, but now they have to say, okay, we want to put more of our games on the Xbox because they like the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So why not just give them our bread, our crumbles, whatever. So that would be God of War 1, 2, and 3, PlayStation 2 version on PlayStation Now. You know what I'm saying? Not releasing.
Are we saying we could get Bugs next on Xbox?
Say what?
Are we saying we could get Bugs next on Xbox?
I don't know about Bugs. I don't know. I think that's still an exclusive. I think it's too new. I'm talking about PlayStation. I'm talking about PlayStation.
Look,
I'm talking about PlayStation
game,
2. PlayStation 2 type games. You know what I'm saying? Like things that people don't even know. Like, I mean, for instance, I'm talking about Xbox, like pure Xbox fans. Wouldn't know much about Sackboy.
No.
You know what I mean? So,
or care about it either.
But to see something like this happen is very interesting. I think we should keep a close eye, because another thing, I don't have the specifics, but Epic Store is also doing exclusives as well. So to see, and Epic Store is more of a subscription than a console-based type of platform. They sell games, they don't sell subscriptions, but they're more like Steam. Epic Store is more like Steam. So, and a lot of people on the Xbox side has been wanting Steam to be on the Xbox to play. So it's just interesting to see how the industry is shifting as things move forward. I'm sorry. Anybody has anything else with that?
I mean, it just makes sense that they would do it, because besides PlayStation owners, PlayStation is in the MLB game because Japan, they actually like baseball,
Yeah.
And the only other place that baseball is as popular in Japan is America. We created it, right? So that's why Don doesn't care about this. No one's playing baseball in England, right?
Yeah, that's what I happened earlier. I was like,
they've never played cricket, and even then, they don't care that much about cricket either.
Yeah,
FIFA.
Man.
Cricket's a very specific.
Yeah, it's kind of niche, but it has its love. You can.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. But I'd say Indians love cricket more than British people.
You can't say that to a West Indian boy. What's going on with you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You guys like it more than British people.
What? You gotta bowl that ball, man. They're like, what?
Oh, I'm not dissing cricket at all. Cricket's a pretty cool game.
Nah,
I'm just saying that compared to baseball, they don't care about baseball.
Yeah, no.
So I think it's a smart move by Sony.
Yeah, I think it'll sell a lot more in the American market. Sure.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it because it's way better than I find it better than that one game. It's those guys with big heads and little bodies playing baseball. I forgot the name.
Oh
of
gosh,
the
I'm thinking of Wii Sports right now.
No, it's not that. I forgot what the name is. But dang, bro, you went straight Nintendo on a
That's my one Nintendo reference for the year. That's all I got.
Okay. So
I know Moss will definitely get this too.
Yeah, I'll play Moss. I'll beat him on it too. So another news that came about was Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba is coming out on all consoles. I don't think Nintendo's in there, but PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Looking at the trailer, it seems to be I'm not gonna say a copy, but it favors the style of the Shippuden series, Naruto series.
Okay.
And I kind of like that. I'm just wondering how far they're gonna go on creativity. I guess the sky's the limit. But have you guys seen the show, the series, Demon Slayer? No.
I have
No,
not
I was
watched it yet.
impressed at the fact that you just pronounced it so casually.
Oh.
To be honest. I was kind of blown away. I was like, whoa.
Oh my gosh.
But no, I know very little about this.
Okay, Don, that's your homework. It's a very, very awesome show. So just a little synopsis, not spoiling anything. You are a teenage kid who went to take care of your family, come back home, everybody's dead. The only survivor.
Oh.
The only survivor is your sister, who becomes a vampire, or as they're called demons in the show. And the only difference between your sister and everybody else who's contaminated is that she maintains some form of sensibility on human beings and her family. So she fights alongside her brother to reach the person who can possibly make her human again, right? Now, the whole story is about the brother. He is the protagonist here. He is the guy. The sister is kind of like... You ever play those games where you fall more in love with your companion than the actual person that you're playing as?
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
That's the sister. Like, she is beast. She's nonsense.
Okay.
She's nice. So I encourage you guys to check that out. It's a very interesting anime, and they're making the game for it. The movie has sold out every time across the world. I'm not sure why it has not hit Netflix and Hulu and whoever and Microsoft Store, but everywhere else,
Well,
they're enjoying it. So what's up?
Well, the anime itself is on Netflix, right? But just not the movie, right?
Yeah, the movie.
Okay.
The movie came out last year, and the show came out the year before.
Yeah, I still have to watch the show. I know my brother-in-law likes it a lot. He says it's very popular in Taiwan, and the girls want to watch it too with me. So I don't know if it's too much for them or not yet.
Bro, it's popular everywhere. Everywhere. It's
Oh,
nonsense.
is the game gonna be by Bandai Namco?
It looks like it because it follows the same shell shaded, Naruto vibe. I'm talking new school Naruto, not the old school where it looks literally shell shaded now. It has that new school Naruto look, but it's all Demon Slayer. So
Okay.
Yep. I'm looking forward to it. But when it'll come out, later this year.
Definitely cautiously optimistic about it because I don't know. Ever since that last Sword Art Online game, I'm a little hesitant on the anime games, and even that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot wasn't really super impressed either, honestly.
Wait, did you buy that?
No, I got it from my brother-in-law, and I played it a bit.
Yeah.
But
it felt like a repeat.
Yeah, I think they could have did more. Honestly, I think they could have did. Well, it was mostly the side quest that just felt kind of worthless. Maybe I didn't play enough of it, but just didn't feel like they gave enough experience or anything really rewarding. And not only that, they weren't very interesting. I think there's so many Dragon Ball Z games out now that it's kind of a shame that we haven't had a great one yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
The Dragon Ball Z Fighter,
It's
the last
probably
fighting game
best.
that they made, that was great, for a fighting game, but they haven't had a real good RPG game yet, you know what I mean? Which they kind of promised with Kakarot, which To me, it was pretty lackluster.
I thought that's what it was gonna be, where you create your own character and you roam around and then you collect and grow your different, skill sets. And then
Yeah.
it came about was it was like an origin story afterwards, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, I kind of was hoping that at least he would go through like Goku's whole story at first and then create a character.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I didn't have to create a character, I mean that would have been fine. Also, just like I said, like just didn't feel like there was enough. I mean, obviously, everyone loves the main story, right? But just doesn't feel like they did enough of their own thing. It almost felt like, I don't know if you ever played Superman 64.
No.
No.
Oh,
No.
you guys are lucky, because like flying around in that game felt kind of like that, dude. Like, because you in that game, like all you would do is like collect these stupid like hula hoop circle things. I hated that game when I was a kid. I didn't get it, but we played it at my buddy's house. We like rented it, and obviously when you're a kid and you rent a game, you try to play it as much as possible.
Right.
And that game was just so trash. It was so bad,
Blockbuster.
and I had flashbacks to that
Oh,
game
no.
because of that.
This is
Wow,
nightmares.
He having PTSD about the game that he wished he never bought. That's messed up.
Okay, at least Lewis liked it. It seems like it was a good game. It's just that I felt like they could have did more. I expected more from what I played.
Which and is he saying that he liked Superman or he liked Dragon Ball?
Probably Dragon Ball.
Okay, no Lewis. He's saying it was good, but he could have did more. He agrees with me.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, wow. Stadia, they have not exited and it's not a word, but it is what it is. They have not left the gaming scene, but they have decided that they're no longer going to produce first-party games.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is that they it sounds to me that they've dissolved their first-party studios and only working with third-party devs for Stadia, and they're keeping the premium version of Stadia, which means that it's going to be all in subscription, no free. That's just what I'm getting from it, but I still gotta dig into it some more. What do you guys think about that? Because I think the thing about it, Microsoft's whole thing was, Sony is the way it is. We know we can't beat them because Sony and the community of gaming just tends to just love Sony. Sony says hi,
Yeah.
everybody falls back like they got touched by the Holy Spirit or something. So they moved on and they looked at Amazon and they looked at Google and realized that they're trying to get into subscription base. Now, why would Microsoft consider this? Well, the difference between Sony and Amazon and Google, Microsoft is on equal terms with those two companies when it comes to money. Like, we're talking about trillion-dollar businesses. At any point in time, they can they say we have a console. Like today, they can say we have a console. It's shipping tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sony can't do that. I mean, they have the PlayStation 5. They could be looking at a PlayStation 5 Pro, but it takes time to develop that, right? Like Amazon could be like Amazon and Google. They have scientists below the building concocting some secret technology, and then poof, it comes out there. To me, that's more scarier to Microsoft than Sony, saying, oh, we got a new game, we have a new console, and this and that. PlayStation Now, PlayStation Now and PlayStation Collection. So, I can see where their minds is. Now, to see that they've done this, it changes the game a little bit, because imagine if Microsoft says we no longer want to do first-party development for Xbox. Bro, it would be uproar.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would Microsoft do at that point if they didn't have any first-party developers and only working with third-party? What could possibly be the case? And that could only be Game Pass at this point. Like, Game Pass would accommodate all third-party studios and to work out deals and make money by the millions. If you have that community, if you have that much people, that's the only thing that Microsoft has going for it. So what does Stadia has on equal terms that can do that? Do they have the games?
No.
Okay. And they're working only with third-party studios, so that means there's still more spending to be done to get these people into the platform. I don't understand why they're doing this. It does not make sense.
I mean, that's just kind of like what Google and Amazon do, though, right? Like, they start a project, and when it doesn't go the way they think it's gonna go, they kind of just cut ties before they dump too much money into it, thinking that that's the best thing to do. When really, they really need to double down, which is kind of crazy, because like, it's how do you get to be such a big business in general without taking risk, right? That's just the weird thing about this. Like, I mean, even like with Amazon, I mean, I know this is kind of like a side thing. Like, what was that one like Overwatch shooter type of game that they came out with that came out and then right away just closed? I can't even think of the name of it. That's how it disappeared so quickly.
Well,
I know it's not Valorant, but
no, Valorant's still popping.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean, I know that's overpriced. Yeah,
it's free to play. What are you talking about overpriced?
Yeah, it's okay. You know, it's free to play. You could buy like $300 skins and stuff. No big deal. I'm serious. There's a skin that's like literally $100, and then like to unlock all its skills and all kinds of nonsense, it's like $300 total, dude.
Yo, I like how you are so casually sarcastic with that. I mean, I played a little bit of Valorant. I mean, it felt like CS:GO, you know.
Yeah.
But like, dang, bro. Okay, so he was going someplace with this. I completely lost what you said. What did you say, Dio? It was with
just like how Google and Amazon, they just keep cutting. You know, as soon as something doesn't go the way they want, and it's starting to show failure, they just kind of like cut ties. You know,
well,
they don't really double down on anything.
Let me ask you this. What's their name? Who was making the Lord of the Rings game?
Amazon.
Okay, so they're the one that didn't crash. They're doing it on the Luna. Whew.
Yeah, so I mean that's still in development right now.
Yeah.
So New Worlds will come out before that.
Okay.
Is that what it's called? I think it's called New Worlds or something like that. I can't remember now. They're over MMO.
But that's kind of crazy though. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's just not enough. At least in America's infrastructure, there's not enough players to support something like Stadia yet, because unless you're living in a big city, you can't stream games that quickly, you know?
Yeah.
And even if you do live in a big city, you still have to pay for that kind of, internet speed.
Yeah, for sure.
Which everyone's not willing to do.
Yeah, like I've got a decent internet connection, but even in like streaming still isn't a good option for me. Like we're trying to remote play on Xbox or try to do like a xCloud, like this connection isn't even all that great.
So are you hardwired into your Xbox?
Yeah, I'm hardwired into my Xbox. I have to use an Ethernet cable.
Is your bitrate at $6,000?
That's right, John.
I don't remember exactly.
Crucible.
But yeah, like streaming, it's not great, man. Just like wireless signal just sucks. Even for like, big cities, man, it's just not.
We're gonna have to take a look at that, because you do make some good you have some good gameplay. So the fact that you're not streaming because of the quality is interesting.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate, man. Like, I think, especially with this whole Amazon Luna and Stadia, that's a lot of people haven't gotten bored. Like you were saying, it's because of streaming. Just the internet isn't there for it.
But wouldn't it have been better if they aligned themselves like Xbox did with Samsung and then tie Stadia into that? Since Samsung is already using the Google technology anyway, and Android, that would have made sense. You just, and then you use third-party Bluetooth controller and you just pay a subscription to play games. You know what I'm saying? Like that decreases the cost. And you pay anywhere between $4 to $10, $4.99 to $9.99 just to and you come home, play some games, and that makes sense. Like Xbox is gonna do it
I think
anyway.
that would make a lot more sense as well for like the casual gamer too. Like you don't have a big investment going in. Like with Stadia and whatnot, it's all on PC, right?
Yeah. No.
That's the thing. Like,
wait, you say what? Stadia is not PC.
Is it not? I don't remember what's PC exactly, but things like that. For me, I don't know. I just feel like it's easier for everyone to get a console at the minute. It just feels like way less work.
especially during the times that we're in, I don't think anybody,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you're very hardcore like Dio, you know what I'm saying, who can go out there and get every integral piece of PC hardware and then put that together and then turn it on, right? And then it's like, you know, you get the blue screen of death. You turn it back. You know, these guys, I mean, it is what it is. Anyways, Dio, you found some things interesting this past week? Some news?
Yeah, just little things, you know, like for my action role playing people out there. I mean, Grim Dawn, one of the better like PC action role playing games, like Diablo. It has its last patch. Kind of sad because it's a really good game. I mean, obviously it'll still get continued, like, you know, with support and everything. But at that, you know, now we know the story is done. You know, like they're not going to continue it. But hopefully, you know, maybe Grim Dawn 2 will come out, or maybe they'll have like an online version or something. But that's one thing right there.
And that's
I know you're not
top down like Diablo style.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, I don't know why it's not on console, because it does have controller support and it feels great on a controller. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe they'll do that eventually, since the game is complete, and we'll get like a full remaster version or something on the Xbox or in the PlayStation.
I think it's a publisher thing, not really a dev thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. But hopefully, eventually.
Yeah.
I know you guys were laughing at Smite like last time, you know, but I've been playing a lot of that with my like with some of my family and everything, and they got this new god. You might be interested in this god, Ebonics. His name is Tiamat. Like, because he really reminds me of Bahamut from like Final Fantasy. So it looks pretty cool when he uses his moves. Right now he's like pretty overpowered though. So that's one cool thing with Smite going on right now.
Gotcha.
You know.
Yeah. What about you, Don C?
Well, ESO.
Oh,
okay.
Wait,
My bad.
wait. ESO, let's go.
Oh.
What? I mean, everyone knows that there's the new expansion coming out for like Oblivion, which, you know, you could debate whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but they're making a lot of changes, which are pretty interesting. One of the bigger changes that I like is the champion point changes.
Okay.
Champion points, for people who don't know what those are, when you hit level cap at level 50, you start earning these points that you could put into skill trees called champion points, and it really helps you build your character to be more unique, having a more unique feel based on your gameplay style compared to other characters. And it feels like they're definitely changing it for the better, where before it just really felt cookie cutter, where everyone kind of had almost the same build just to perform better. Now you still kind of have that, because like some champion points are for combat, and then some are more for like kind of like fun stuff. And I think that's pretty cool. There's a lot of race changes coming. Not race changes, but like changes to the racials for each race. So that's going to be pretty cool, because they're balancing it because of the champion point tree, but also they're trying to make it so you don't feel like you have to play a certain race, right? Like a lot of people end up playing high elf because they're a magicka user. So like they really want to play an orc, but it's like, I gotta play this high elf if I want to be, you know, at my max potential.
Yeah, they don't want to lock out, like, I don't know, like a Nord, wherever it is. They don't want to lock out these people from playing different kind of play styles. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So like, you know, they're trying to mix it up a little bit, where you have like high elves are getting weapon damage and spell damage, and orcs as well. But they're you know, mixing that up a little bit too. So that's kind of cool for people who have left the game and you don't want to come back and play a different race.
Yeah,
and right now
when I played Skyrim for the first time. You know, I was an Argonian. And
you were an Argonian?
Yeah. I was
Okay.
a lizard.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I wanted to be lizard, dude. And,
they're actually a pretty good race in ESO.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it. I feel like giving people the choice, especially for like a multiplayer game, I think it's more important. Single player, it's a bit more different.
Exactly.
Yeah, giving people the kind of freedom to, you know, play style without feeling they're locked out of it because they chose this character, kind of thing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, so I'm thinking that you're gonna end up playing ESO now, right? Like, so you could play your Argonian like sniper.
Hey, maybe. I mean,
Download
like,
that joint
it's
today.
like Hellblade, you know. I'll download it. I'll get around to it eventually.
It's on Game Pass.
Wait.
You know what I mean?
So it's already downloaded. You just haven't popped it up.
I don't think so. No.
So you gonna do?
I mean, I download it. You know, I'll get around to it.
It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
You know, you're not really losing nothing.
Yo.
Speaking of Game Pass, I was playing a game on Game Pass this week.
Mhm.
What was that?
I was playing Donut County.
Mhm.
Game of the year. 100%. Yeah.
You know, I don't even know that game.
I
Yeah.
feel like I have a thing where I have an amazing ability to find games that no one's heard of.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
not heard of this.
You've been scraping the bottom of Game Pass and then finding like I don't even know if you can call
Honestly.
them jewels yet.
It's a weird little indie game, but I loved it so much. I just had so much fun.
You said
Yeah,
Donut County.
you play as like an evil raccoon, who could, like not even evil, just like a maniacal, menacing raccoon. He builds like holes in the ground. And he starts sucking everything up, and it just gets bigger and bigger. To like basically destroy society, and it's just a whole.
What? How is that a donut society? Like what?
Ah, look, dude.
That's like the
I
name.
like the
has-
art style.
the name has no justice to the actual gameplay.
Yeah, it's like half a gigabyte, dude. It's great. I had so much fun.
Wow. That's
Okay.
good. That
Is it
good.
multiplayer?
No,
Okay.
it's like I think you could beat the game in like 2 hours if you wanted to.
Okay.
But I just enjoyed playing it so much.
Jeez.
I'm gonna have to download that. It looks cool.
Oh, it's
Jeez.
great. I had so much fun.
I'm looking at it right now.
Wow. So outside of that, yesterday we had a announcement from Square Enix about Final Fantasy 14, the MMO.
Oh yeah.
Now, I wasn't able to get all of it, but from what I was able to understand, there's a new job called Sage. He is like a healer, and forgive me for those who know it, but like a healer and then a DPS from like a distant DPS, like somebody who stays in the background and do DPS in a sense.
Yep.
So he's in the game. This DLC is called The End Walker, and it's going to be the last within the story arc of A Realm Reborn. So it's going to be an entirely new game within the Final Fantasy 14 universe. After this DLC, the DLC after would be something completely new. They've changed up the battle system specifically on numbers. So for those who
Okay.
they kind of, looking at DPS and number counts and stuff, they're changing it with this DLC. The reason being is because the numbers will get so huge that they would overflow into other numbers, maybe
Yep.
party related or whatever, and it would create bugs. So once you hit from 51 to 80, it's gonna drop it's gonna start dropping those numbers. I guess balance out the numbers so it wouldn't create those bugs or things of that nature.
And it's more pleasing to the eye, right? Like, you know.
He said numbers. He didn't say special effects.
No, I mean, like, for people who like leave the numbers on when they're doing their DPS or over healing or whatever. When you see like those big, huge numbers, I mean, it looks cool, but
Yeah.
when they get extremely long, it just looks ridiculous, right? So
Mhm.
Yeah. And
I guess that's part of it.
the thing about it is, like, with Final Fantasy, you have the ability to change the UI like crazy.
Oh yeah.
And the number, like, for me right now, I have it to where I can see all my configurations for my gamepad. Like, before, you have to double tap the trigger to show the actual side rotations, if you will, or slots. Now they just stay up, so I can see it all. Because to me, that's how PC people play. They can see all their moves, all their rotations and stuff like that, and they can just punch in at the right time. With the controllers, they didn't have that, so to make that available, this is not current DLC. This is something that I think happened with Heavensward or Stormblood, that they allow you to do it. So it's pretty cool. So the DLC is dropping in fall, What I don't know
Okay.
is one, if you do um the 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 skip, the story skip, I'm not sure if you're gonna still have to play Shadowbringers or if it'll bring you up to Endwalker where you play the story for Endwalker. I'm not sure, but
To me, how it looked to me was that it, at least, and I could be wrong, but you're gonna have a choice to whether you want to play the old story or you want to start fresh new at Endwalker or whatever, or after Endwalker once this is done. You know what I mean? When the new story is coming out.
yeah. Well, they came across as though the whole thing is done. Like if
Yeah.
like there is the A Realm Reborn saga that ends at Endwalker, and then there's this new joint.
Exactly.
So that's interesting. Dio, how do you
That's a
feel
great
about
idea.
that? Because World of Warcraft hasn't done that, right? They're still in the same story arc.
No.
Right?
They're too afraid to be. See, I like the idea of that because, like I said, like to compare it to like Google Stadia, like you have to double down and take risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is great because if you continue a story for too long, it ends up like just eating itself up, right? With inconsistencies. Like, if you did this now, how come they didn't do this back then, or whatever the example is. So this is great for them to just tie it off, have a good story, and start something new. It's perfect, and it's what. Even better for people like me. Like, it is so hard, and I know everyone keeps telling me it gets better at end game. Don't worry about the first like 50 levels or whatever.
They told me that.
It's so hard,
too.
bro.
It is hard.
It's really hard.
It is hard.
Oh man,
bro,
I really had to push
it is
through.
Hard. It is hard. Here's the thing, right?
Here's the thing. It's really worth it at the end. It really is. The story is so much better.
Check it out, right? So A Realm Reborn. When I first started playing A Realm Reborn, and I went through the whole thing, bro. Now I'm a slow player. Like, when I mean slow, I mean I like to consume myself into the story, bro. Not even halfway in, I start skipping everything. I was like, please let it end. I was skipping, and then story's over, and then another cutscene comes in, and they start talking, skip. So it was gruesome, and so what happened this year? What was it? Last year, right? They cut the fat from the first part of the story.
Yes. There's still a lot of fat, man.
And there's still so much. It feels endless. Dude, I remember I was playing with Dio at one point, and Dio saw this Dark Knight. And he's like, "Oh man, he looks so cool. I want to play him." I said, "Oh, you have to get to Heavensward." You literally get him in the beginning of Heavensward, right? Dio was level 20. He stopped. Bro, it was so.
Dude, I'll put it like this. Like, literally, like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago? I signed up for like 3 months again, right?
Yeah.
And I started a new playthrough. I was recording and everything. I got so burned out. I was even thinking, I was like, who's gonna want to watch this? This is so boring.
Dude, they will watch it. I was even surprised. I was surprised that, but people adamant about the franchise, Final Fantasy, MMO, the whole nine. They'll watch it, so you don't have to worry about that. The problem is you as the gamer having to go through it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that's the problem. Because there's a lot of first-time people. Yeah, go ahead.
That's why I'm excited for this new update, because it's like, okay, because everyone says the same thing, like Heavensward, Shadowbringers, Stormblood, it keeps getting better, the story.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, take those lessons, and hopefully they start that way from the beginning with the new story, and then people like me who are new will be happy. But I know I can't wait that long. I gotta push through. I'm just gonna do it.
Dude, I think what you're thinking about End War is not gonna happen. It's gonna happen after End War.
Yes, after End War, correct.
End War is not the beginning, but the end.
Yeah.
The
So
end to the
we still
beginning.
have like a whole year left. Yeah.
So technically, you still have to go through your story to get to End War. So Don, right?
Yep.
You won't have to suffer this with ESO. That's why we're telling you to go ESO.
Oh, thank God. this is my fear. Like, I don't want to just have to go
So-
through the garbage to get through anywhere.
But it's great. See, the garbage is great, but it's just long garbage. Anyways, I mean, I don't mean to call it garbage. It's not garbage, but it's just even people in the game feel that way. It's like, man, it's just endless. But you have to go through a Realm Reborn story, and after a Realm Reborn, you have 10 patches of story to do before Heaven's Word. It's long. Those patches.
No, you're not selling Don.
I'm not trying to. Don doesn't have a PC.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not trying to.
This is where my lack of PC comes in handy.
Yeah.
I know how to do it.
So I think it's gonna work better for the new story because they've learned, right?
Yeah.
But this is technically for Dio. So you have that and you have Heaven's Sword. Now, back in the day in Heaven's Sword, you had to wait until you get to the end of the arc to start flying. Now, since Dio's 20 with his tank.
Gladiator.
Yeah. No, right. You just need 10 more levels to get your chocobo, and your chocobo can start flying immediately in a Realm Reborn. Now, come, let's see, Shadowbringers, you have to start doing the currents quest. So the way how that works is there's a compass that tells you where currents are, and you have to go find them and collect them to start flying in those worlds, if you will. So that's the only thing. So they push you up to the story that you need to be in, and then you start doing the stuff, I think. But it is what it is. So yeah, Dio, just let me know. No brother left behind.
No, I definitely want to push through because honestly, everyone talks crap about the combat itself, but I mean, if you play tab target, I mean, you should expect that. Like in the beginning, it's gonna be slow, and then you get all your moves in the end. You know, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It is mostly the story. Also the fact that it's, and I hate to be so jaded, that it's not voice acted. Because at least if it was voice acted, a bad story could be more digestible. But with it not being voice acted and then not being very good in the beginning, it's just like, oh my god.
Well,
It's just.
I thought the same way too, but the voice acting kicks in at the later part of the story, and then it gets better with the other patches, the other DLCs. There's a lot more voiceovers moving
Good.
to like Stormblood and Shadow.
That's what I figured.
And the thing about it is, like, when I was playing, even when you started jumping in, I was with the other guild. They're like, oh man, this is the best story ever. I don't know how they're gonna outdo this story. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm hearing this is like, are we playing the same game? You know what I'm saying? Literally, they're like that. It's like, man, the dungeons were awesome. The story was awesome. There's no way they can outdo this one. You know, and then Endwalker comes in.
Okay.
So, yeah, but so that's it. Dio, do you have anything else?
I mean, you brought up Tomb Raider a little bit earlier when we were talking about like Sony exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I know that they have this new Tomb Raider game coming out to unify like the timelines, right?
Okay.
It's like a reboot.
Okay. Well, yeah. What was it? Was it that? Okay, so you have Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3, but then there is the one before she becomes a Tomb Raider, getting into being Tomb Raider. Is that where her father actually existed before he died, and then she started being inspired to be a Tomb Raider?
Dude, there's so many of them, man. Like
I played. I remember the new trilogy more than the old. But I think in the new trilogy, it was like her father was kind of exploring. She's kind of taking after him and his kind of journey. And it ended a bit weird.
I mean, because the father had these hidden secrets that she's still trying to find.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I can see where that would be a good, segue into the past. I mean, segue is kind of a wrong word to use, but where she's seeing all these things, and then the father's talking to her about these stories, whatever. But I don't know how they're gonna do it, because technically the father has to die for her to begin, right?
Yeah, I when I read that kind of article about how they're trying to link the old trilogy with the new one, I don't know how they're gonna do it. If they can, fair play. I'm always down for more Tomb Raider, but honestly, the story just seems so messy at this point. I have no idea how they're gonna do it.
The problem when you continue a story for too long.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
With the Jesus character.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Don't even get me started on that game.
Oh, it's like, wow. Like,
I mean, to be honest, I've never been crazy about Tomb Raider. I mean, I remember playing the old PlayStation ones when I was a kid on my uncle's PlayStation, and the only Tomb Raider I ever had was Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation, like on the Dreamcast. Moss bought that for me, and I was upset with him. He bought that for me for Christmas, and I'm a kid, like, opening it up. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I was so disappointed. I mean, that's back when the controllers were really bad for that game, where like she would like kind of like side shuffle into like the next position instead of like how smooth and flawless it must be now. But I remember only playing that game like really just to unlock different like secret backgrounds of her like in bathing suits and stuff when I was a teenager.
Oh, I remember
it's
those.
like, if I'm gonna hate it, I'm gonna hate enjoying it.
I mean, I just found it interesting just because of the fact that they're actually trying to make an anime in Netflix. So
that would be cool. Yeah.
That's cool. That might bring me back into it just to check it out.
Yeah, I just want to know how that would turn out, because you don't see that much type of anime that deals with exploration on that type of front. It's usually something to do with something more magical and more, as far as anime concerned. I don't think I've ever seen like because that still comes across as like an Indiana Jones type of anime, doesn't it?
Yes.
So
it would be like that.
What anime exists out there that does something like that I can at least watch and see how that would turn out?
I'm sure there's plenty. I mean, there's animes of all kinds of crazy things out there, but when it comes to like actual shonen kind of animes, I don't think so. But I mean, if you want to watch something different than the average shonen, I would definitely recommend this one anime called Monster.
I heard about that one. Isn't there a game about it too? There's a game on Xbox about it too, isn't it? Where a kid can turn into different monsters.
Oh no, that's something different.
Are you talking about Ben 10?
You're talking about Master Boy, I think.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Go ahead, Monster.
Nah, so Monster is, there's nothing really supernatural about it or fantasy-like. It's something that takes place like in the quote-unquote real world. So it's more like almost like a detective series kind of thing, but not really. I would definitely suggest. I don't want to ruin any of it because it's probably one of the best animes I've ever watched, besides like Berserk and like Evangelion.
Okay, so the monster,
especially when it comes to something that's not fantasy.
So the monster would basically be the guy and how monstrous he is at solving stuff, perhaps? Or
no, so the only thing I'll give is that the monster is a person, but it's not the main character. It's the main character is trying to stop the monster, and he's only using the word monster to describe him because of how like pure evil he is compared to like the average human. Like this guy is like pretty much like the next like Hitler. Wow. And he wants to stop him. So it's really, really good.
Now we got two things. We got Demon Slayer and we have Monster. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I mean, for you to watch Monster, I've never seen it on Netflix. Back when I watched it was back in the day when I was a teenager and I was, pirating stuff. So.
So wouldn't it be on Crunchyroll then?
It could be. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't have a sub to that, but it might be.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Definitely.
Yeah, and it's not very long. It's like maybe like 20 or 30 episodes at max.
Okay.
But it's really good.
Cool. All right, guys. So this is it. This has been the Digital Cypha Podcast, man. We were talking about anime. We've been talking about games. We're talking about the industry. Talking about the possible Chinese revolution. In gaming, if that ever happens. It is I, Ebonics, alongside with Dio and the Don CJG, and we are signing out. Thank you so much for stopping in.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.